Thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Two subject matters today we have to touch base with. And in the first instance, well, there's a transition. I think it has happened, or is it in progress? Anyhow, the chairman of INEC has handed over to one of his commissioners. We'll be talking about that this morning. And then also the minister, the presidency has accepted the resignation of a minister. All of those things we'll be talking about, and to help us talk about those matters, we have Mr. Jake Ekpele. He's joining us remotely. Good morning, Jake. Thank you very much, as always.
Hi, good morning, and good morning, Nigerians.
Indeed, thank you very much. And then we also have Mr. Libros Oshoma, legal practitioner. As always, Libros, it's a delight to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning this morning.
I like that. Well, the first thing, maybe we could take either of them first, but let's look at this, the matter of INEC.
Okay.
You know, let's start off with INEC. We'll then come back later on to the other one. Yeah,
INEC, I've heard people talk about electoral reforms, electoral reforms. As good as that may sound, you can't have a holistic reform when the human capital, the personnel that are going to manage the electoral process, they are not reformed. So that's where, before now, all eyes were on who becomes the chairman of INEC. And that was one of the things that led to the establishment of the waste panel. Because those who were in opposition were agitating for an amendment to the constitution that the president should not be the sole appointer, that there should be stakeholders who should nominate at least 3 members after screening and interviewing, and then nominate these 3 persons to the president, and the president eventually would still appoint from amongst these 3 persons. So that was what eventually, culminated into the waste panel report, because that 2007 election was greatly flawed. Even Yaradua accepted. Today, we are at that same crossroad again. Now, the last election was, there were a lot of, to date, there's still a lot of, stories around that process. We've had a lot of reforms in INEC. Fantastic, reforms, card readers, the biometrics, and, but the problem had consistently been the management of these reforms. So even if you reform INEC today and then you have people who will compromise managing the process, we're still going to come back to this same position. So where we are not where we were in 2007. We are far away from there.
Okay.
And also,
in a positive way? Yes,
very positive way. And also, remember when the card readers was introduced, the Supreme Court did hold in some wiki and INEC that because it was not part of our rules, and so you can't reckon amended in 2022 to reflect all of this. So now, all of these are reforms that are consistent. So we shouldn't just look at this issue of, reforms, and create jamborees and the humongous budget for our National Assembly members, when we can focus on people who should man the process. And also, INEC headship should not be a learning ground for anybody. Oh, yes, bring professor, come and learn.
Okay.
After all, we've seen, I don't have anything against professors. You have fantastic professors in Nigeria, but let's have people who have the capacity, who probably have gone through the process. And in that regard, we've seen professors also, here we laugh, jokingly say, Nigeria is a country where Agberos will write election results for professors to go and read. We've seen where professors are also prosecuted, for electoral malpractices. So integrity should be the watchword as we, look out for the next INEC leader, not just, you know, he's a professor and he's headed one department and then you come to use INEC as a learning spring.
Okay, it's thank you very much, Libros, and interesting where, you know, how you sort of opened up, because I think you probably will say that, you know, May Agbamuche-Mbu, I think one of the oldest INEC commissioners, she is in an acting capacity. She's been handed over now.
Yes, she's in an acting
capacity. These are people who know their onions when it comes to INEC. It's like they can tell you the story of INEC.
INEC, yes,
you know.
yes.
So I suppose what you're saying is that, contrary to that, look, it's not about you being a professor or about you being that. You have to be knowledgeable, you have to be competent, and Mrs. Agbamuche-Mbu, I hear that she's not just a lawyer, she's a lawyer both here and in the UK. So it means that she's just been watching, seeing everything that's been going on, and probably has her own opinion. But another thing about that lady, and let me bring this to Jake. Another thing about that lady is that she seems to be very, very private. Not very much is known about her. You know, professionally, of course, it's so very long, the citation is long, but you don't know about her personally. Those matters, I think, intentionally have been kept under wraps. I'm talking about Mrs. May Agbamuche-Mbu, the acting national chair, as was handed over to by Professor Mahmood Yakubu yesterday. Give me your thoughts on this transition. You probably didn't see it coming, but to be sure, Professor Mahmood, I don't think that he's in any form of trouble. He served out his term, 10 years, just short of a few weeks. And he said he's making this transition, or he's taking this action after consultation with all the INEC commissioners. So your thoughts, Jake, on this? No, don't tell me that we don't.
Okay. One, I can tell you for free. I can tell you for free that I know May. I call her Auntie May. I know her. She is very professional. She is a woman of integrity. But I don't think they will give her that position. She may just go from acting to going back to the national commissioner that she is. I think I want to say that she's too straight for the system we have. But generally speaking, and I would like to benchmark it on this thought, that everything rises and falls on leadership. The problem is not INEC. The problem is not the operational capacity of INEC. The problem is on the leadership. Whoever leads INEC. There are some good things that Mahmood made. There are some bad things that he made. And I would like to weigh in on those two. One, INEC is too big. And I am a proponent of a sort of restructuring of INEC, because it's just like a big giant that sometimes steps on the grass. In terms of what Mahmood did, Mahmood worked hard to establish a number of frameworks that we can see today. And I'll give it to him as one of the good things he did: introduction of technology, although he didn't start it, but he enhanced it. Two was the inclusivity space. He truly and really worked hard to establish a workable framework for inclusivity, inclusion of women, youth, and persons with disability. There is today an operational framework that anybody that is coming in can use and move the cause forward. In terms of what he didn't do well, I think the way and manner the 2023 election was handled is something that will question his integrity, something that I think every time he goes out and Nigerian sees him, I don't think they will give him a pass mark. It's unfortunate that election that would have been the very best of the election, it would have been a comparison of June 12th election, was not properly handled. There were too many promises and very, very, very low performance. And so today, INEC has lost credibility. So whoever is coming back will work extra hard to rebuild the confidence of the electorate. There were too many interference by politicians. I think he wasn't that independent, even though he was running an independent institution. There was too many interference, either from the executive or from the legislative or from the judiciary, and of course, the public in general. I want to see a bit of accountability, what he left behind and what his thoughts are in terms of moving forward. A lot of resources were spent under his 10 years of leadership, or nine and some few months or weeks of leadership. I think there should be a public scrutiny of what is spent, how it's spent, where it's spent, and of course, effort should be made to further build the capacity of INEC staff. That I didn't see much of that. It was left in the hand of the global partners. But I think there should be a deliberate effort. There should be a deliberate effort, to focus on the capacity of the people, because we are in a country where we invest billions in the building and we pay peanut for those that will run that building.
Okay. All right then. Thank you very much, Jake. Liberos, what do you think has happened here? Do you think that Professor Mahmood Yakubu would have taken this step? That is, as he said, a few weeks to the completion of his 2 terms of 10 years, he has taken this, said, look, I'm going to hand over early to give those who are in charge of such things plenty of time to select, the next occupant of the office. And he said that he had consulted with the other national commissioners. So by consensus, everybody seems to agree that, that everything is in order. We said that she's a very highly qualified, seasoned legal expert, over 30 years, because if both of you were here now, you'll be saying my learned sister.
Leonard Senior.
My Leonard Senior. There you go. So what do you think's been going on here? Could Professor Mahmood Yakubu have done this on his own lonesome, so to speak? Or are there some hints in the fact that this has happened and he has announced it?
I don't think there are hints. You remember, usually when somebody is going on retirement, you proceed on terminal leave. At least to give room for you to exit, or to give room for if there's any audit before you find out your final exit. So terminal leave is, normal. If you remember also, when Mahmoud Jega was leaving, people expected him to seek a second term. And the man said, look, I want to leave when the ovation is loudest. And so he decided to leave. And then Amina was appointed as in acting capacity. And then a lot of, quarrel because of our relationship with Muhammadu Buhari, then president. And so, for me, I don't think there's anything untowards here, proceeding on terminal leave. But my Oga, I call him my Oga, Ekpele said something. May Agbamuche, fantastic, awesome person, highly celebrated. But INEC, there are also some persons, somebody like Mike Igini, for example.
Yes.
Also a lawyer, highly also celebrated. INEC, apart from needing reforms, INEC also need a brand marketer at this stage. Okay. Like he said, and I completely agree with him, the reputation of INEC at this stage is not too good.
It's not all
so
it could be.
There's need for voters education, massive one, voters awareness and education. which INEC seems to have been lacking. And they believe that since the politicians are the beneficiaries of the process, they should take that responsibility. For somebody like Mike Igini, who consistently, even before now, had been out there telling people what to expect from INEC and the right questions to ask and what, So, and then, if you look at it in terms of credibility and integrity, when I talked about the two professors, Professor Peter Ogban and Professor Ignatius Utu, it was for the first time in the history of INEC and Nigeria, a resident electoral commissioner insisted that professors must be prosecuted. And he successfully prosecuted those professors, and today they are in jail, and so people are happy. So this is the kind of things we want to be hearing from INEC. And so within INEC in itself, there are people who are credible, who you can look, instead of always going to look outside, bring somebody to learn on the job. Within INEC, we talked about the current acting. I'm also, pointing to Mike. When Mike, in fact, at a point in INEC, the fear of Mike Igini was the beginning of wisdom for governors. You remember Imo governorship election. We remember the Edo governorship election. Even sometimes in Rivers, Amechi said something a few years ago, I think 2000, that, a former governor, his friend, was blaming him that being a friend to Mike, that he orchestrated him losing election. He said, look, that man does not listen to anybody. So these are the kind of people we need in INEC now. When you have those kind of people, you have the reticent, cerebral acting chairman, you have somebody like Mike. But unfortunately, like Ebon Jake said, these people, government will say they have independent minds. Government always look for that person that would kowtow, to their whims and caprices. So, but the way politicians...
Does this relate to when Jake said, because I was a bit taken back, by the way, you did refer to, Atahiru Jega as Mahmood Jega.
Sorry, Atahiru Jega. Yes, Atahiru Jega. Yes. When he was exiting, he also left and proceeded on terminal leave and said he was not seeking a second term. So
when Jake said that, he doesn't think, they'll appoint her, I was surprised when he followed that up with, she's too straightforward and...
yeah, because election in Nigeria, whether we like it or not, is a do or die. Look at the same process, the same election. You had the Senate, House of Rep election, Senate election, the presidential election on the same day. Others didn't have glitch. Only one had glitch. And that put a big question mark in the entire process. So what that tells you is that it is not a technology problem, but a human problem. Remember the 2019 election, INEC, in fact, it was Igini that before the election went around saying they had a server. But after the election, INEC said they didn't have a server, there was no server anyway. So all of these deficits consistently had robbed INEC of credibility. So now, if you look at the entire process with what we have, and I learned before the program, my brother Jake is in Ethiopia, where other countries are learning from us, our electoral processes.
No. He's in Nigeria. In fact, right there, he's in INEC. So I was saying to him, what are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing in INEC? He said, no, there's a meeting and Ethiopians are in town to understudy
INEC. And so that means our process, we've taken our process to a very high level. What we now need to get right is the human capacity. So once we get the human capacity right, we'll be able to win back the confidence of the people. And without confidence of the electorate, certainly you can't be talking about democracy.
Okay. Jake, do you want to clarify a bit when you said that Mrs. Agbamuche-Mbu is too straight for that position? I was a bit taken aback, as a matter of fact.
No, it's a fact. She's a no-nonsense, very straightforward person. I know her a bit. I know, and I've seen the children she raised, and we've had conversation. And so I know how to read beyond the lips of an individual to the heart of that intention of that person.
So this is your take. This is your take on her.
Yes.
That
Yes.
given
And everybody that knows that Larry can tell you the same thing.
Okay.
You know, she is a no-nonsense, straightforward. She cannot be easily bought. I can tell you that for free.
Okay.
However, here's the thing. You brought up a very important aspect of this conversation. Was Mahmood forced out or he left by choice? I think it's something that will occupy the political pundit analysis in the next couple of hours. However, if you know Mahmood, I think he likes the position that he occupied.
Mahmood Yakubu. Mahmood Yakubu.
Yes.
He's come to the completion of his term. 10 years in the job.
No, but he had some few weeks to go.
And now,
even if he's going an annual leave, he has some few weeks. But that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. But it doesn't look to me a good riddance of bad rubbish.
No. I don't know that anybody has gone to that level yet.
There are a lot to be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me bring on
this point because
I'm holding somebody up. I'm holding somebody up on their line. Let me quickly bring in. Good morning, Mr. George in Ikeja.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
All right, Uncle Yori. Since yesterday, there has not been anything that one has not heard from the numerous opposing media channels. INEC has lost credibility. Yakubu resigned and appoints an angel from heaven to come and rule INEC. The president is not qualified to make the appointment. But truth must be told. INEC has not lost any credibility. It is people who fail to win elections that are crying foul that INEC did not favor them. We have seen the innovations that INEC has been trying to put in place from time to time. If you check leadership anywhere, leadership is always a reflection of how the majority of the people stand. So even if you go to Mars to go and find somebody to become INEC chairman, he will still reflect how the majority of Nigerians stand. We can't expect perfection in an imperfect situation. Now, if the president is the one that should appoint, simply because he's the president, so he should first of all resign so that another body will come and appoint INEC chairman. I don't know how some people think.
Well, that's opposition for you. I indeed have heard some voices from the opposition going along that line.
Yes, but there should be reasonable opposition that can tell us that you are better than what you already have. How can you say that the president doesn't have the integrity to appoint an INEC chairman just because you want somebody that will come and teach things to your own side?
Okay.
It's not like that. It shouldn't be like that.
Okay.
We don't. The INEC has no credibility. Okay, if INEC declares a result, then the Constitution gives you opportunity to contest the result with your facts up to the Supreme Court level. That had been done in all these elections. Then are you now saying that we don't also have our judicial system?
Okay.
The Supreme Court is not credible in Nigeria?
Okay. I think Jake wants to.
So let's quickly.
I think
Jake.
Okay, because Jake, you need to get back. Jake, one moment. Hold on. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. You need to get back to your meeting. So go on. Have your say. Have your say, please, gentlemen, because you are getting back to a live meeting going on in INEC.
Yes. I think this gentleman does not live in Nigeria. For him to say that INEC have not lost credibility. I have been in electoral space for over 15 years, and I know what happens. My organization provides a lot of framework for INEC. The Ethiopians are here. They've been calling me now to come and make a presentation on inclusivity. Now, the truth is, INEC had lost trust of the electorate. Let's not deceive ourselves.
True.
That confidence has to be rebuilt. Whoever is taking on the mantle of leadership has a lot of work. The problem is not even voter education, my good friend Lebros. The problem is confidence deficit that the people, the electorate, now believes that even if I vote, it won't count. Even if they give me an opportunity to elect my candidate, that person will not win. That is the issue. Nigerians, we should tell ourselves the truth. That is the issue and the thing that is bedeviling INEC, and they know it. I think I need to go, Polari. I'm so sorry.
I think I understand you, Jake. Thank you very much, Jake Ekpele, for squeezing out a few minutes for us. We really appreciate that. Jake explained, for those who missed it, that he's actually reaching us from inside INEC, where a meeting is going on. Some Ethiopian officials of their own INEC, they don't call it INEC, but they are in town to understudy how it is that we do what we do with our own electoral matters. So thank you very much, Jake Ekpele. In fact, we shall be going on a break soon, but okay, just a few seconds, because we go on a break and then we come back and we talk about our second subject. Go on.
Yeah, let me quickly say this, that it is a notorious fact that with what happened in the last election, that a lot of people, even now, that's why you see that the yearnings for electoral reforms is so high. And then also, the appointment of a INEC chairman, it didn't start today. The president's party, ACN, when they were in opposition, in fact, they were so vociferous on reforms for INEC that the president should not be the appointer. In fact, they were the one that mooted that idea of having, stakeholders where 3 persons can be screened by stakeholders, preferably, according to them, then retired justices of credible integrity, and then these persons are recommended to the president from which he can select. So it was those agitations that even led to the selection of Jega by Goodluck Jonathan, when he now said, I don't know Jega from anywhere. It is the yearnings of oppositions and civil society. So this call didn't just emanate today. Okay. And so if the tables have turned now and people are calling on the APC to do what they once preached, then it is not out of place. It's not something that people should condemn. It's all politics, and it is healthy for our democracy. And truly, if we have people of integrity manning the electoral affairs, if you're popular, you win election, then all this albatross of, you have a defective credibility, or you didn't win the election, are bugging the court system with electoral processes when other matters are there to be handled, won't be there. Do you know now that I speak to you that to get dates in Court of Appeal and Supreme Court, sometimes 4 years, 3 years.
What?
Because they have to take pre-election and post-election matters. Even, do you know, pre-election matters for 2022 are still in court today. Okay. So if we have credibility in the process, you won't have all of these challenges. Okay,
no doubt we're going to hear a lot more about this subject matter, as the